here, baby. You're hitting them corners too fast. You need to slow this motherfucker down. You understand? I almost spilled my yak on this $200 suit.
Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I hope you consider hitting that subscribe button and also hitting that bell notification so every single time I post you'll be notified, which is every Sunday. So you read today's title, you know what we're getting into. I'm super excited. I think I may have done 1 or 2, maybe 3 album reviews on my channel, and each time I've kind of done them in a different format, but they're always fun. No matter the situation, if you want to see any of those, I'll link them down below. They'll also pop up on screen. And today I'm very excited for the album we are reviewing. We're revisiting Harry Styles' album Fine Line. One, if you are someone who watches my videos every week, thank you. I mean, like, that's really sweet. No, but if you watch my videos every week, I think you could have guessed that a video like this was coming. In case you don't, I'm gonna give you a little timeline of how we got here. I did a video where I ranked my celebrity crushes, and in that video I ranked the members of One Direction. Then I did a reaction video to some live One Direction performances in a style on my channel that I call Look at the Material. And then I did a video where I filmed a vlog, and in that vlog, I'm pretty sure I convinced people that 77% of my time at work is just me listening and consuming different One Direction content. So this video, I mean, some people could have seen it a mile away, and that's okay. I am nothing if not an on-brand, predictable kind of I'm super excited. I know you're like, you could be watching this video right now and you're like, it is 2022, and this album came out, I don't know when this album came out.
2019? What?
I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I really thought this album came out last year. Time is not real. I was genuinely still in school when this album came out. You know what I think what threw me off though is because of the pandemic and everything kind of got like pushed back. So he would have toured this album probably a lot sooner when his album came out. But since I feel like I feel like he just now wrapped up the Love on Tour. So that's why I'm like, oh my gosh, 2019, what? Okay. I am very late to the party then, but better late than never. Of course, never late is better. The whole reason I even gave this album a listen to is because when Harry announced his 3rd studio album coming out, which is called Harry's House, it comes out in May or April.
It's April now.
It comes out in May. I need to get it together. When he announced that the album was coming out, I was excited. And then when he announced that he was going to drop a single, I was even more excited. So when I heard the single, and I was like, this sounds like possibly what Fine Line sounded like, which I had never heard. So I wanted to go back and give that album a full listen to and actually give it a chance. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about how I've taken in the album over the past few days. For a lot of you all, since it came out in 2019, this album will be a revisit for a lot of you all. So it's just be fun. It's fun. It's very casual vibes. And I am excited to get started. Like I said, I've done a lot of One Direction based content. I've only done one One Direction video on my channel, but best believe I'll be doing more. If you watched that video, I went on many tangents about how I love One Direction. I love each of them as a whole, the 5 of them. And I really have loved them all separately. I've just recently been giving all of their solo careers a bigger chance because, let's be honest, she's a Harry stan. She's a Harry stan. And we're gonna talk about this masterpiece of an album first. I love this album so much. Harry Styles, self-titled. Actually, throughout the video, we're gonna call this HS1 because that's, Harry Styles 1 being his first album. I love this album so much. All the girls love this album. This is one for the girls. This album, girl, I love this album. I needed the physical version of this. I needed to have it. I don't have a CD player, but I needed to have this physical version of this album so I could look at it every day and just remind myself how much I love this freaking album. With that being said, clearly I have a bias towards this album. I think some of the reasons that I like this album a lot more versus his second one at first was that the song lyrics and what each song meant, it was a little more simple. And I don't want y'all to be like,
well, that's your problem. You only like simple stuff.
Calm down. I'm just a fan of, just kind of like a song where it's like, I get it. I know what it means. Not that, I don't like to be challenged a little bit. I don't like to be like, that could have multiple meanings. But sometimes the girls just want to listen to Sweet Creature and just know what it's about and just feel good about it.
I I rest my case, Your Honor.
Like I was saying, I love the first album. To me, it was something that I thought was said so well and so simply, and I think that that's what I liked. And I just also like the sounds of it. Something else that I really appreciated was that you could hear a lot of really popular musical influences in that album. You could hear like sounds of like David Bowie, a little bit of the Beatles, some Queen. So you have like heavy British pop rock influences, and I just think it sounds really good. I think it suits Harry really well. Something else I thought about recently while listening to this album is that I could imagine One Direction singing a lot of the songs on that album, give or take, and that could have just been me kind of hoping for that reunion. But I mean, just in general, it has that same very familiar feel. In a lot of ways, it just kind of felt like a comfort album. But we're not talking about that album. We're not talking about HS1. We're talking about Fine Line in this video.
I thought it would make sense to show you guys my ranking for HS1, cause I think it gives context for my ranking of Fine Line.
I don't want to show y'all my notes, but look, I'm a journaling girl. Initially, when Fine Line first came out, apparently in 2019, I did like Lights Up when he first came out with it. And I was like, oh, this is really different. But it's okay, it's kind of groovy. But after that, I was just kind of like, I was really wanting something like Kiwi again, something like Sweet Creature, Give Me Another Sign of the Times. That's what I was hoping would have been on his second project, and that wasn't, so I was kind of like, I don't know about this one. Then eventually, I got into more of the singles that he released from the album. So, you know, I really liked Adore You when it came out. Falling was another beautiful one. Watermelon Sugar, like all the singles from this album I started getting into, but I still hadn't done like a deep dive into the album and really given it like its moment and its time for me to listen to. But something else that I noted about this album, I got the impression, and this is me putting on my like, she's a girl who loves to talk about music and like trends and pop culture. I feel like, this is gonna sound so pretentious, right? But I feel like I listen to a lot of music. And I feel like you can tell when an artist is making music to be on a chart or that's gonna appeal to a large audience versus when they're writing something that's like super personal, in my opinion. For example, Demi Lovato, I realized that I had never listened to her last album. I don't remember a lot of people talking about it, and I feel like that album compared to the one I had before then, Tell Me You Love Me, not that anything was wrong with Tell Me You Love Me, and not that it was like, this is just for mainstream media, but there's a certain level of, I think, vulnerability and complexity when an artist is making a project that is purely about things that they went through. And that's something I noticed with Demi's album, Dancing with the Devil, and Fine Line. So those are my initial thoughts. She's an intellectual. So after listening to the album for about twice a day for 2 weeks straight, Harry, the album is beautiful. And I just want to extend my deepest apologies to my Aquarius King, which I will never apologize to an Aquarius. So if this is something that you all have been waiting for on my channel, get ready to screen record or do whatever you need to do now. I'm going to apologize to an Aquarius, and it's going to be the first and the last time I ever do it. Harry, I am sorry. I didn't give this album a fair shake when it first came out, and I apologize for that. No, the album is great, and like I said, similar to Demi's album, I think that Fine Line shows the layers to his songwriting abilities, his storytelling abilities, and just his abilities to kind of open up as an artist, which, if I can go on a quick tangent for a second, do you mind? I just want to say something really quick. My YouTube has been a lot of like One Direction fan compilations, and one that has stuck in my mind has been like One Direction being bullied in interviews for like, if I find it, I'll link it below. And I feel like for them, and I talked about this a little bit when I reacted to their live performances, well, I touched on the fact that they were like a super big boy band. And recently I watched Harry Styles' Apple Music interview, which we'll talk about in this video, and I watched Liam do an interview on, I forget the channel, but in both those interviews, regardless, both of them were very open and honest about their experiences in the band. And I feel like when you get to that certain level of fame, there's a lot about yourself that like you don't really get a chance to express in your songwriting. So now here they are, finally getting this chance to be vulnerable in whatever way they want to. And for Liam, that's him, you know, being as open and honest about how X Factor and fame affected his life, and you know how he's growing from that and learning from that. And with Harry, the Apple Music interview, he either says it in there or I read it somewhere else that like he was never really one to sit down and talk about this thing happened in my life and I want to talk about it and here's how it affected me. He is someone who does it in music. And so I think taking that into consideration when listening to this album gives me just more evidence that this is a very personal project for him. And obviously as a recording artist, he wants to do well and he wants his music to do well, but I got the feeling definitely from listening to this album that he was very focused on telling this story about himself and his experiences. If I had to tell someone what this album was about, right? And this is me trying to be succinct, which, babes, I made a 45-minute video about Euphoria. I wouldn't know succinctity if it hit me in the face. But here's what I would try and tell someone if they asked me what this album is about. It's a breakup album that explores all parts of a relationship: excitement, grief, sex, sadness, anger, freedom, and self-realization. In this essay, I will be. And I mean, he does kind of confirm that in his Apple Music interview he did with Zane Lowe. He talks about how, or does he really? I'll tell you what I didn't know. I didn't know this Camilla Rose, what's her name? Camilla or Camille? I didn't know she was a thing. I didn't know this was a stint in his life. Harry, I feel like there's so much we don't know about each other. We should grab lunch sometime and catch up. I feel like I've missed out on a big chunk of your life. And I don't, as your Capricorn friend of me, I don't feel like that's good for either one of us. We need to catch up sometime. Lunch, my treat. So basically the way I want to do this video is we're gonna just talk about each song. We're gonna go through track by track. I'm just gonna give you what I think it's about, my impressions of the song, how it fits into the narrative of the album, and then I'm gonna give you my ranking of each song. So let's get started. The first song on the album is Golden. Golden's fun, it's cute, it has a music video. I like the music video a lot. Harry running towards you in that white puffy shirt. How good, fun, and fresh is that? That's lovely. So the whole album talks about in the course of a relationship, right? And so if we look at Golden, as it is the opening of this album, it is the opening, the beginning of a friendship. You know, it kind of talks about those kind of highs and lows, the excitement and the almost anxiety of starting a new relationship with someone. I listened to the album kind of like as a story. Ew, that sounds so pretentious.
I just kind of listen like the album is like a story. I just kind of let the artist like tell me a story.
Ew. But I did. I kind of got the impression that our protagonist, I am being so pretentious in this video, ew, our protagonist in this first song, the protagonist of this album, I got the feeling that he kind of knows that he's like not the best person, recognizes that they want to get involved with someone who they, and maybe in hindsight, they feel like I should have never gotten involved with that person because I brought them to a place where I was, and that probably wasn't the best for them. And also, all this stuff is just my opinion. It's my interpretation, and the good thing about interpretations is they can be, you know, discussed and challenged, but they won't be disrespected. Okay, so let's keep it cute in the comments. Thanks. You know, the protagonist in this, he knows he's not the best. He knows that he's a flawed person. And, you know, to an extent, we all know that about ourselves. But I think that he is just admitting how much he's in love with this person. Everything about them is so alluring and they're so interesting and everything about them is so lovely. They want to be with them regardless. They are golden and the protagonist wants to be around them and wants to be with them regardless. So I like Golden. I think it's a great album opener. I think it sets the tone for the story that the album is about to tell you. So I think it's a really good opener. I really like Golden a lot. Good job, Harold. So there are 12 songs on this album and Golden is my 11th favorite. Don't be upset. Just let me finish the whole ranking before you get upset with me. Thanks. The next song on the album, Watermelon Sugar High.
He talking about sex.
Girl, he talking about sex in this song.
Hey, you know, I just... The whole album is about sex. He says it's about having sex and being sad. If we're gonna look at it from the lens of an intellectual, right? I think that Watermelon Sugar, in the narrative, in the context of this album, it really just talks about, you know, so you have this emotional excitement that was presented in Golden. And then when you get to Watermelon Sugar, you kind of have the excitement, you know, that first initial excitement of like, oh my God, I really like this person. I'm sleeping with them for the first time. And you're getting to experience all these things that come with That's funny. You get to experience all these things that go with, I'm an adult, I can say it, that come with having sex with someone for the first time. Watermelon Sugar is my 5th favorite song on the album. The next song is Adore You. So I even think Adore You is probably more dead on than Watermelon Sugar. I think you know what the song is about when you're hearing it, when you see the title of it. It's about adoring someone, and you know the lyrics. Come on, yeah, I walk through fire for you. Those are the words of someone who would truly do anything for this person that they love. I'd walk through fire for you. Just let me adore you. Like it's the only thing I'll ever do. It's the only thing I'll ever do. What I really want to talk about with this song in particular is with the video. If me and Harry were, you know, if we had better communication as frenemies, he would have called me and asked me to be in this video. But he didn't. And he used a CGI fish in the music video for this song called Adore You. Harry Edward Styles is singing to a fish. Harry, DM me so you can have my current number so that next time you want to film a video for something, you can get to me. And of course, it's funny, and it's Harry's quite the comedic genius there. But what I think is really interesting about the video, spoiler alert if you haven't seen the video, but in the video, basically Harry Styles, he gets like this magic fish. I don't really know. He gets this fish, and every single night that he goes to sleep, this fish grows like 3 times in size. And so Harry has to run around this whole town of wherever the hell he is and find this, he has to find this new thing to put the fish in. And then eventually the fish like watches the news. So this fish can understand the news. I'm not upset. It's just a very wacky concept. The fish sees the news, and I think it sees like its kind like swimming out of wherever, like if they're on like some island, if this video takes place on an island, the fish are either migrating towards or away from the island. Like there's a scene where like, I think Harry goes to take the fish to the shore, and the fish sees like someone like chopping the heads off like different fish. And so he starts freaking out. And so Harry and all these people, they end up like dragging the fish out to sea so he can, swim and be free. What I really think that video is about, and how I think it ties into the song so perfectly, Adore You is about doing anything for someone because you are literally obsessed in a healthy way with who they are, and you would do anything for them to just make them happy, to see them happy. And in this video, Harry consistently is changing the environment for the fish, no matter how big it gets. And it'd be inconvenient to have a fish that is like, like you can't even see my arms in this. It'd be weird to have a fish that's this big and very inconvenient. But Harry, because he's so obsessed and in love with this fish, he will do anything to make them happy. And in the end, even though Harry does love this fish and he develops a very fun and fond relationship with this fish, he ends up having to set the fish free, but that's what the fish wants. And because Harry adores this fish, because he'd walk through fire for this fish, he'd do anything for that fish. It's a really beautiful song. I'm just really upset that I wasn't in the music video. So I like Adore You. It's very groovy. It's I think his voice sounds good on it. Call Me a Sucker. But again, I feel like my ranking makes a lot of sense looking at my ranking from HS1. So Adore You is my 3rd favorite song on this album. Okay, next song is Lights Up. Lights Up was fun. This was the first single he released from the album. It was pretty good. I liked it a lot. Again, when it first came out, I was kind of like, oh, this is different. It's good. I didn't expect this from him, but it's fun and it's enjoyable. And this is one of the songs, at least for me, I like the song. I totally get what it's about, but I'm having trouble seeing how it fits into the narrative of the album. Not in like I don't really understand why you put it here, but just like, I don't know. I don't really see it, but I like the song and I like the meaning of it. I feel like Lights Up is just this kind of like anthem. It has a very like, is anthematic a word? It has a very anthematic feel. Talking about living and almost relishing in the good and the bad parts of truly being who you are. Lights up. Do they know who you are? When these lights are on, baby, right? When everyone can see you, when the spotlight is on you, do all these people out here know who you are? Do they know who you are? Dum, 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 shine there in the light, so bright sometime. I'm not ever going back. I'm not gonna lie, I really do like the song. I like the song a lot. I think it's a great song. Even more so, kind of taking in these good and bad parts of yourself. I think it also it celebrates living in the freedom of stepping into being who you are. And I think what's really special about this for Harry is he is someone who he's been a kid star, I think, since he was like, I think he started X Factor when he was 16 or 18. All I remember is that he was a baker. So I think he's always been labeled as different things, and he has always been someone who's just so level-headed when it comes to media and all the labels that they throw at him. And he's always, I think, had really good management of, people being like, you're a ladies man, and he's always like, nah, I'm just a baker. So he in his own way is getting a chance to just kind of define all the things that he is and all the things he isn't in Lights Up. And I just think that is so beautiful, and I'm so proud of you, you little Aquarius. Derogatory. Lights Up, as it stands, is my 9th favorite song on the album. Here we go. We're getting into the sad parts of the album. A like me loves a good sad song. I like to almost just be on the brink of tears.
Constantly.
I just love this cusp of this part of the album. I think it is such a turning point in the album, and I'm obsessed with it. The next song on the album is Cherry. Girl, Cherry is so damn sad. In his Apple Music interview, when Zane Lowe asked him about this song specifically, he talks about how it's kind of pathetic, and how when you see someone that you really care about move on, or I'll even say regardless of if you actually care about them, sometimes watching them move on, regardless of how you feel about them, you're like, okay, I guess. And I kind of feel like that's what's going on here. What I wrote down specifically for this: pathetic pleas of asking someone to not be happy with someone else, to specifically not be happy. It's not a plea for reconnection. I can't even read my own handwriting. What does that say? It's not a plea for reconnection, just a plea for you to not be happy with someone else, which is something of a new topic to me. I feel like most love songs, while they can be a plea for you not to be happy with someone else, that plea will always end up being, you know, don't be happy with that person, be happy with me. But in this song specifically, he doesn't really say anything about like, come back to me. It's just, you know, don't call this person, don't you call him baby. We're not talking lately. Don't you call him what she used to call me. I made that song sound country, and I don't really like that about myself. And that's one of those things where I think kind of levels up his songwriting ability, is that I feel like in times of One Direction, or maybe even in his previous album, it's asking for a reconnection with someone. But in this one, I think he understands that this person is moved on. They don't want to be with him. And at his very pathetic, lowest moments, he's saying, well, can you just do me this favor and not be happy with them? I just think this song examples really strong feelings of jealousy and anger that come with a heartbreak, and so I thought he did it really lovely. Cherry is my 4th favorite song on this album. Next song is Falling. The transition from Cherry to Falling is such a painful thing, but it's so good. Those two, like, you know, I understand that artists will put songs on an album in a specific order because that's the order they want to tell the story. Excluding songs that like they blend into each other. I don't remember the last time I've heard 2 songs back to back that had this much of an emotional effect on me. Hearing these songs back to back every single time, just the outro of Cherry and the piano beginning to Falling just always makes me like, oh. Before I gave the whole album a listen to, and I was just listening to the singles from the album, Falling was definitely one of my favorite ones. I literally wrote down the saddest thing I've ever heard in my life. Oh my god. It's a sad song. Vocally, you know, I'm not a vocal coach, but I can make comments here and there on the vocal aspect of things. His voice in that, it's so strong, and you can hear like just this bit of like, I don't want to say like grit, but this almost like a pain when he says falling. Listen. It's in that, like that part. It's almost like his voice has like this crack in it, which I think adds to this overall kind of like sad and vulnerable and almost, I don't want to say pitiful because that has like a negative connotation, but just really like broken person. Falling, you know, Harry talks about this album kind of talking about the highest of the highs that he feels, but the lowest of the lows. And I know that he's talking about Falling when he talks about the lowest of the lows, because this song, just the chorus, like,
falling again?
It is this, I never know the word, but like, it is this graspable point of just being afraid of being at your worst again. And that is something that is tangible. Tangible is what I'm thinking about. That is, I think, one of the most tangible experiences in adult life. You know, I think when you experience that, it's one of those things where you're like, wow, we've gone through the jealousy and the anger of getting your heart broken, and this is the grief part of it. This song is grief of a relationship to a T, and it's very beautifully done. And I just you ate, King, you really ate. Falling is my 2nd favorite song on the album. Next song is To Be So Lonely. I like To Be So Lonely a lot. I think it's very, can we listen to that part really quick? I just really like it. I have literally written down the drunk phone call song, which it is, right in the beginning. He's like, don't blame the drunk phone caller. He says something like that. I think that this part of the album, still a very sad part. I mean, it's a very sad sounding song. It kind of does like this, I don't know musical terms, but it does this like thing right before the chorus where it, I don't know, it does have a very sad feel. I'm just gonna play it. Hold on. I don't know. That's a very sad sounding thing. I know it sounds very grand, but it just sounds really sad too. We have our protagonist Harold in this song admitting he's an arrogant son of a who can't admit when he's sorry. In this song, he is admitting it in a way that is not apologizing for it. He doesn't know when to say he's sorry about it. In this song, he's really denying his own shortcomings as a partner. He does it in a way that, you know, childish. It dismisses blame. And it's almost kind of like it's being a little mean in this song. You're being a little disrespectful. It's a very Aquarius song. I'm not gonna lie, you know, the chorus, you know, he's like, don't call me baby if you don't believe it. Like, basically, like, don't be nice to me. I know you're trying to be nice to me, but I'm not really here for any of that bullshit. No. He's not saying that, but I mean, he's basically saying, like, you know what? I'm a bad person, but you trying to be friends with me is just not working. I know you're trying to fix things because you have, like, respect for me, but it's not working. That's the kind of vibe I got from this song in the most, like, beautiful and poetic ways. And what I like about this song a lot, it's the same concept that I think that shows this level of self-realization about who you really are. And I think that that's an important part of growing up and maturing, is that realizing you are not always a victim and things are not always done to you, and that sometimes you are a bad person. I feel like him writing the song in kind of a retrospective way of like, this happened, now he wants to write about it. I feel like in a lot of ways he has learned that he is not always the victim. Not that I think that Harry Styles ever, and you know, has ever like victimly came out and been like, women keep breaking my heart. But I think it's important for him to have a song like this, and I really like it. Harold, I think you did again, I'm gonna keep saying that you did a great job with this one. To Be So Lonely is my 6th favorite song on the album. The next song is She. Let me tell y'all this. I know I've been saying the rankings for like the end of each song. She is my favorite song on this album. Look, I know I said he ate with Falling. He ate, got seconds, ate again, got dessert, and ate again, and then came home and had a cup of tea. He devoured with She. She is my absolute... I love this song so much. Harold, where do you get off? The title and the chorus of this song would make you think you know what the song's gonna be about, right? You're like, oh, it's a song called She. In the chorus, he talks about she's the one that I see in my bed, you know, things like that. Like, she lives in daydreams with me. She's the first one that I see, and I don't know why. I don't know who she is. She in the song represents freedom and a different life where the protagonist is not living this mundane life. Talks about a man dropping his kids off at school and getting, you know, having his assistant get coffee and going home at the end of the day. Like, it just sounds like a very boring day. In the second verse, he talks about like this guy wanting to get away, just hop on a ship and go somewhere, but he won't know what to tell his friends. And in the chorus, when he sings about she is in daydreams with him. She is in his bed at night when he's alone. Like, she is the first thing that he sees, and he doesn't know why. The man doesn't know why he feels this way, because maybe we can inferences. Hello, thank you, English class. We can infer that his life isn't bad. You know, he's got kids and he's got like a decent job, decent enough to where he is an assistant. You know, he has all these things in his life that are good, but he still wants this other thing. He doesn't know why, and that is just... The song is art. And even beyond that, I just love the way the song sounds. It's so good. Like, just the beginning. Take this journey with me. Let's do it. Ooh! It's so dramatic and just so heavy sounding. Like I said in the beginning, She is my favorite song on the album. The next song on the album is Sunflower. I'll be honest, I didn't really like Sunflower that much. It wasn't really my favorite. With that being said, I don't really have a lot to say about it. I do have some notes. I will share them with you all. I think this, in some ways, marks the upturn of the album, so that's good in a sense. You know, we've gone through this slew of really sad music and this moments of really learning who we are, and you know, we're finally picking it back up. And I think in terms of how our protagonist feels, they are starting to feel better about their lives. Yeah, this is kind of describing how he's feeling now at this point. Very thumbs up-ish, very thumbs up-ish. But it really was my favorite song. If you're a Sunflower Volume 6 stan out there, let me know, but we can just move on. Sunflower is my last favorite song on the album. Next song is Canyon Moon. Canyon Moon, I just thought it was so fun sounding. You know, I definitely do think it's one of those like songs that has like a fun beat, but is really sad when you look at the lyrics. This song is giving like kind of reminiscing vibes. You know, it talks about times under the canyon moon. I think it reminisces on times that this person has had in a specific place with someone. Is Canyon Moon a real place? Don't laugh at me because I don't know things. Show me Canyon Moon on a map. Oh, it is real. Y'all, I don't know anything. Don't laugh. Yeah, anyway, regardless, I think the song reminisces about a specific place and a specific time with a person. But I also think what's interesting about this song is he talks about a woman named Jenny in the song. He talks about how Jenny says, get the kids ready and everything. To me, it kind of gave the feeling of like, not only does the song reminisce about what happened in the past with a person, the song also reminisces on like the thoughts and the hopes of which you had to come with this person. And that's where kind of like that somber feeling comes in. And, you know, the repetitive kind of chorus, or maybe it's a pre-chorus of I'm going home. I think it's the protagonist, Harry, returning to this place, I think, to maybe possibly make new memories. That's me thinking that because it's the end of the album, so it's supposed to be like a little happier. I think he's going to return to Canyon Moon, this place or this feeling, and try and make something positive of it. So yeah, I like Canyon Moon. Canyon Moon is my 10th favorite song on the album. The next song is Treat People with Kindness. Love, love, love. This song is very explicit in what it means. It's very fun. I love Harry's voice on it. Like, he has a range that he can do with his voice that is, in my opinion, a little surprising because his voice is so deep and he's very like I was saying melatonin. That's not the word. Monotone. Melotone, my God. He's very monotone when he speaks, so it's very interesting that like he can do like his voice just sounds really good on this. Look, the title is Treat People with Kindness, so what do you think the song is about? It's about treating people better, you know. It's just about getting to a place where we as people can just be kind to people. And that's it. That's very on brand for Harry. He's not a mean, well, you know, in this world of parasocial relationships, from what I know about him, from what I can gather about him, I don't think he's a mean person. He's not a very violent or like ill-intended person. Treat People with Kindness is my 7th favorite song on the album. The last song on the album, it is what the album is named after. The last song on the album is Fine Line. You know, the album is named after this. It is the ending of the album, so it has to really summarize what this album is about, and I think it does that very perfectly. After all of this, after all that he has described in this album, you know, these super amazing and golden and sweet highs of getting in a relationship with someone, and these very scary, anxiety-filled, rage-filled, sadness-filled moments, these lows in a relationship with someone, or the lows of breaking up with that person, and everything in between, I feel like Fine Line basically tells you to find that balance in between those two, because you're never going to have one without the other. They might not ever get to those extremes, but you are not going to have, you know, highs without lows, and, you know, vice versa. Not everything can be what makes you beautiful. Not everything can be that. Some things have to be falling and some things have to be cherry for you to get to that place. But just know that what makes you beautiful is not a real place. I think I'm losing it because I haven't had dinner yet. Fine Line is my 8th favorite song on the album. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my entire review of Fine Line. I thought it was a very beautiful album. I don't believe that it came out in 2019. I really feel like the internet is lying to me right now, but regardless of that, I am sad that I was not on the train for this album when it first came out. But best believe, for Harry's house, I'm front and center. I'm helping him move in. Well, he's already moved in, I guess. I'm excited for this next album. I loved As It Was. A great song. It's very fun. I thought that, again, you know, he's giving us really strong visuals and really strong messages in the lyrics and in the video. So I already know he's on that type time again. He's on that type time. I'm excited to see what else we're gonna get, and I'm excited for when that project drops. Harry Styles, I know you're watching. That's why I've been addressing you this whole time. I know you're watching out there. Thank you for this album. Thank you for consistently sharing your talents with us. Like I said, I love this album very much. You know, this is my child. This is my holy grail. I love this album so much. But now I can say wholeheartedly, I with Fine Line a little bit too. I with it. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Leave me a comment about anything I talked about here today. I love to talk to you guys. I love reading you guys' comments. I love responding to comments. So please leave me a comment about anything. If you haven't already, please be sure to hit that bell notification and that subscribe button before you head out the door. I love you all very much. Please take care of yourselves out there. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to one another. Treat people with kindness. That's all I'm gonna say. Treat people with kindness. Do something that makes you feel not only good, but makes you feel better. Talk nice to yourself before you talk nice to anybody else. And I will see you all in the next one. Peace.